When it comes to Marvel Comics, there is no limit to how many powerful and amazing women exist, both on the side of good and even on the side of evil. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. This is Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host, Amanda McKnight. You can find me hyping more geek speak on Twitter at VampX13. Today we'll be taking a look at some of these women who are heavy hitters as we count down the top 10 most powerful women of Marvel. Let's get into it. Number 10. Enchantress. Enchantress is considered to be one of the greatest magic users in Asgard. She is a villainous woman who often plots against Thor Odinson, although sometimes plots against him because she maybe has a huge crush on him. In fact, there are multiple realities where Amora and Thor actually end up together, even having children in some realities, and in many of these alternate worlds, the villain and hero actually make a pretty good pairing. Enchantress is not just a gifted and skilled magic user who can use her powers to do all sorts of things, but she is also a fairly formidable physical opponent as well, as she is also of Asgard. Number 9. Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is obviously one of my all-time favorite heroes and characters in the Marvel Universe. I love Wanda. Wanda Maximoff in the comics was originally a villain belonging to the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, but would later end up joining the Avengers. And she was never really too happy about being part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Both her and her brother Quicksilver mainly seemed to stay because they felt they owed Magneto, the Master of Magnetism and leader of the group, their lives. He had seemingly saved them both, and so they were basically indebted to him. Eventually, they would learn that Magneto was also their father, but then later on, Wanda would learn that although Quicksilver was indeed her brother, Magneto was actually not their father at all. It had apparently all been a trick of the High Evolutionary's doing. Still, many of Wanda's most astounding feats are tied to this fake family, with her even at one point warping reality and giving her father the perfect family life, allowing him to become the ruler of a mutant civilization during House of M. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want more lists about all the powerful ladies over at Marvel Comics, be sure to head on over to Facebook and click that like and click that follow. We're also gonna have lots of cool bonus content coming your way soon, and I'm very excited about it. Number 8. Hela. Hela is, as she sounds, the ruler of Hell. Asgardian Hell anyways. She is implied to be the daughter of Loki in the comics, though in the MCU her origins were changed to make her the firstborn secret daughter of Odin, who was imprisoned for being such a big lover of death and war after her dad decided it was basically time to make peace with the other realms instead. It's also believed that Hela is actually part giantess as well, which means that she is generally depicted as being quite tall and imposing, even without her awesome headpiece, or without her magical abilities. She's also an interesting villain of the Marvel Universe, as she sometimes works against Thor, and at other times actually plays the role of ally and partner to him. Hela more recently in the comics was teaming up with Thanos, whom she was trying to win the favor of, and the two of them were also kind of like an item in the comics. Number 7. She-Hulk. She-Hulk is one of the strongest there is in the Marvel Universe. She is Jennifer Walters, cousin to Bruce Banner, who found herself able to transform into a jade giantess following an emergency blood transfusion that she received from her cousin. Jennifer specialized in criminal law and ended up being targeted as a result, shot in her driveway. Bruce managed to rig up a blood transfusion by breaking into a doctor's office. Jennifer now specializes as well in superhuman cases, often representing various heroes from the superhuman community. While she is powerful just even as a lawyer, she is also exceptionally strong as a hero in her own right. At one point she was blasted with so much gamma radiation that she was even considered to be potentially stronger than her cousin for a time. While Jen has turned gray in the past and has also become a massive green behemoth, she is now back in a more classic form, resembling her early appearances when it comes to her look as She-Hulk. Number 6. Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is Carol Danvers. Originally, Carol Danvers worked as Chief of State for NASA. It was there that she would meet the Kree-born hero Captain Mar-Vell, who was posing as a human scientist. When she ended up being saved by Mar-Vell when the Psyche Magnetron exploded, their DNA was combined, due to Carol wishing to be like him, and she in her own right became a hero. Although we'd later learn that Carol herself was also part Kree, as her mother was actually Marielle, a Kree woman. In fact, Carol even has a Kree half-sister, L'Oreal. Carol would become Miss Marvel, a hero with super strength, durability, the ability to fly, capable of interstellar travel, and who had energy powers similar to Mar-Vell. Eventually, she would take up the name of Captain Marvel in honor of her deceased mentor, the hero Mar-Vell. Number 5. Spectrum. Spectrum is probably one of the most powerful female heroes that we have over at Marvel Comics. She served as a lieutenant in the New Orleans Harbor Patrol, and while on the job came into contact with an experimental and criminal device that left her forever changed. The exposure left her with superpowers that allowed her to change form into basically any type of energy, which is pretty insane. Monica Rambeau would go on to join the Avengers and even for a short time act as the team's leader. Monica has had many different names over the years, including Captain Marvel. In fact, she took up the mantle of Captain Marvel before Carol did, but ended up surrendering it to the original Mar-Vell son so that he could use it. And then later on, of course, Carol would end up getting it. We've also known her as Photon, but currently she goes by Spectrum. Honestly, I really like the name Spectrum. I feel like it makes sense, because it's like, you know, she's got all the energies, it's a spectrum, get it? I like it. Number 4. Storm. Storm is one of the most powerful mutants around when it comes to the world of the X-Men. She is considered an Omega level mutant, which means that of those with a similar power set, she is considered the most skilled, capable, and powerful. Storm's abilities allow her to control the weather, not just creating storms, but being a master of all different elements within the spectrum of weather. Beyond that though, Storm is also a powerful person. Aurora Monroe is an amazingly skilled and deadly fighter who you probably wouldn't even want to face even if she wasn't using her powers. Aside from that, Storm is also an inspirational and motivational leader. She recently served on Captain Kate Pryde's team of Marauders, mainly because she wanted to keep a close eye on her friend and once protege Kitty, but has now moved on to become the ruler and regent of planet Arakko, formerly Mars, its own primarily mutant-inhabited planet, as she should be. Storm is definitely one of those people that was like born to be like a leader and a ruler. And fun fact, Storm is also a goddess as well, so basically she's got all the things. She can do it all. Number 3. Jean Grey. Jean Grey usually takes our top spot when it comes to our most powerful lists, but I think on a list like this, spot 3 isn't too bad. Typically her power gains respect amongst comic book fans because she is considered the host of the Phoenix Force. Although it should be noted that right now in the comics, Jean is not Phoenix. Maya Lopez, aka Echo, is. Jean Grey, however, is still one of the most iconic heroes to have been bonded with the Phoenix Force. She has both been a powerful force of good and a force of evil when merged with it, either being known as Phoenix or Dark Phoenix. Even without the Phoenix Force though, Jean is considered to be an Omega level mutant in regards to her telepathic skills, and an extremely capable and gifted telekinetic as well, possibly one of the most powerful psionic mutants on the planet Earth, and perhaps even within the universe or the multiverse. Number 2. Nemesis. Nemesis is a pretty cool and niche character who has only made a few appearances in the comics. She was said to have been the first being in all of existence. She made the first beings out of a piece of herself, but finding them kinda evil and pretty much displeased with them, she decided to destroy them. Choosing to end her existence due to her loneliness, Nemesis ceased to be, using her own self to create both reality and the Infinity Gems. She came back into being once more when the gems were brought together again. They merged along with Loki the Trickster God and Circe of the Eternals, who both had brought the final gems together to recreate Nemesis. Number 1. Lady Death. Lady Death is one of the most powerful forces in all of Marvel. I mean, what could be more powerful than that which comes for all of us? The inevitable death. Lady Death is the physical embodiment of death, and indeed she represents that area of the cycle of life. As Death, she basically rules over all living things, which in turn will die. Lady Death in the comics is known for being the love interest of Thanos, who apparently does a whole lot of killing just to try and like turn her head, hoping to win her favor. But there are also others out there who idolize Death as well, such as Deadpool, who even at one point was considered so beloved by her that Thanos cursed him so that Wade could never die, thereby preventing him from ever getting to be with Death. Sad. Who are some of your favorite female characters from Marvel? Which female villains and which female heroes do you think are the most powerful around? Do you prefer their comic book versions or their cinematic counterparts? Let us know in the comments below. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight. Till next time, you stay nerdy, YouTube.